Step out of the line, ma'am. This is first class only, and you don't belong here. Evelyn Thorne's voice sliced through the chaos of Gate 12C at Newark Liberty International Airport, EWR, sharp and venomous, her eyes narrowing as they locked onto Amara Dubois. The Ether Airways gate agent stood with arms crossed, her tone dripping with disdain, as if Amara had wandered into a forbidden realm. Passengers turned, some with curious glances, others smirking, a few nodding in silent agreement. Amara, dressed in a sleek red blazer and tailored trousers, held her phone steady. The first-class boarding pass for Seat 1A glowing on the screen. But Evelyn's words weren't just a mistake. They were a deliberate jab, reopening wounds from years of being dismissed, overlooked, and underestimated because of her skin. "You're holding up the line," Evelyn snapped, louder now, drawing more eyes. "If you want to make a scene, I'll call security." Amara's heart pounded, but she forced a deep breath, her face a mask of calm. She'd learned long ago that showing anger would only paint her as the angry black woman, a trap she had sidestepped too many times to count. Yet inside, a storm churned, memories of doors slammed, of being told she didn't belong even when she'd earned her place twice over. At 38, Amara had flown first class hundreds of times, but today's trip to Houston mattered more than any before it. The Global Energy Summit, where she'd unveil Novatech's quantum computing platform. A $500 million investment hinged on that presentation, along with a $4 billion travel contract decision she would finalize tomorrow. She had packed light, her designer carry-on, her slim briefcase, and her quiet confidence. But Evelyn blocked her again. "Economy is over there," she said, pointing as though Amara were a lost child. Amara kept her voice steady. "I'm flying first class. Seat 1A. She raised her phone, but Evelyn gave it a dismissive glance. "I said economy." Passengers whispered. Some lifted their phones, ready to film either a meltdown or a moment of proof that she shouldn't be there. Amara stepped past Evelyn anyway, reaching a second agent who processed her check-in with a nervous smile and a hint of disbelief. "You're all set, Ms. Dubois." She continued to the premium security lane, only to be stopped again. "Random check," TSA agent Marcus Reed barked, waving her out of line. Amara noticed immediately. Every person pulled aside was a person of color. She said nothing as Marcus conducted a pat-down far more intrusive than necessary, his hands lingering, pressing, repeating steps with a smug expression he didn't bother to hide. Her cheeks burned. When she gathered her belongings, her $6,000 Piaget watch was gone. "Excuse me," she said tightly. "My watch is missing." Marcus shrugged, as if bored. "If it was there, it'd be here." 15 minutes passed. A supervisor magically found the watch in a separate bin Amara had never touched. By the time she reached Gate 12C, first-class boarding had begun. Evelyn reappeared instantly. "Ma'am, first class only," she said, voice dripping venom. Amara lifted her boarding pass again. Evelyn snatched it, inspected it like a counterfeit, then called her supervisor in suspicious whispers. Daniel Grant approached, eyes sweeping Amara with open contempt. "First-class tickets on this flight are very expensive," he said pointedly. He asked for her passport, her credit card, even company authorization, a requirement invented on the spot. As other first-class passengers walked past unbothered, Amara was escorted to a side desk for extended verification. 20 minutes. 40. An hour. No uppits. No apologies. The final boarding call echoed through the terminal, followed by the mechanical hiss of the jet bridge door sealing shut. Amara watched her plane taxi away without her, while Ether Airways employees snickered in a corner. "Think she's first class. Probably her first time on a plane." They had no idea who she was. Amara's watch ticked coldly against her wrist, counting each second of disrespect. Her phone rang. Benito Sanchez, her COO. "Give me the rundown," she said. His voice was tight. "Your keynote is still secure. The $500 million investment team is already there waiting. But the big issue is the travel contract. The board wants a final decision by tomorrow. Ether is one of the finalists, but after what you've just experienced, he didn't finish. He didn't need to." Amara's mind sharpened. Novatech Dynamics was a titan in global tech infrastructure, and through its investment arm, she personally held 30% of Ether Airways shares, more than the airline's founding family. Today's flight was meant to be a quiet, anonymous test of Ether's premium service, a final assessment before she awarded or eliminated them from the $4 billion contract. Instead, the test had revealed everything she needed to know: a culture of bias, arrogance, and careless cruelty. Evelyn, Marcus, Daniel, they weren't outliers. They were symptoms, and symptoms pointed to a deeper problem at the core. Benito's voice steadied. What do you want to do? Amara looked at the empty gate, the mocking glances, the lost hours, the familiar ache of being dismissed even at the top. Her jaw set. This wasn't over. Not even close. Pull Ether from the list, Amara said, her voice low, each word deliberate. Recommend United instead. Their data shows better customer treatment across demographics. She glanced at the desk agent, who was pretending to type, avoiding eye contact. Marcus, the security guard, stood nearby, his radio silent, his posture tense. And Benito, Amara continued, call an emergency board meeting for Ether. Now, flag it as a shareholder action over discriminatory conduct and legal risks. Benito's breath caught. That's a bold play, Amara. You're ready to go nuclear. I'm ready, she said. Launch Protocol Atlas. Protocol Atlas was a strategy born years ago after a tech exec stole credit for her work, leaving her branded difficult for daring to speak up. It was a blueprint for when bias crossed the line, a system she designed to expose institutional wrongdoing using the full weight of Novatech's legal, financial, and media power. Now, she was done playing patient. She was done swallowing disrespect to keep the peace. Her next call was to Chloe Kim, her executive assistant. Chloe, get legal to EWR immediately. Bring Ether's full misconduct dossier. Tell PR we're going wide with this. Chloe hesitated only a second. Understood. This will explode. Media, stockholders, regulators, everyone will see it. Good, Amara said. They should. She ended the call and looked out across the terminal. Near a far gate stood Richard Fairchild, Ether's CEO, oozing entitlement in a charcoal suit. He hadn't noticed her, he never did. She remembered confronting him at a shareholder meeting, asking for diversity auditing. He'd smiled dismissively and called it a distraction from core performance. Now his performance was about to collapse under its own arrogance. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. Don't fight just for yourself, baby. Fight for everyone coming after you. Today, for the first time in a long while, Amara felt the fire of that instruction burning hot. Her decisions now wouldn't just correct a personal wrong. They'd expose a system that had humiliated thousands like her. Her phone vibrated. She made rapid calls to her CFO and legal counsel. Execute the shareholder vote, she said. Freeze Ether's travel approval pending investigation. Request immediate regulatory review for discriminatory screening patterns. Every instruction was a calculated strike, each one tightening the noose around Ether's leadership. At the desk, the agent finally cleared her throat. Ms. Dubois, we're still reviewing your verification. It won't be long. Amara stepped closer, her calm now razor-sharp. Your problem isn't verification. It's discrimination. Show me the manifest for the next Houston flight. I can't access. Then get someone who can. Amara cut in. The agent's hands shook as she finally pulled up the manifest. 5 empty first-class seats. Not one offered to Amara. Exactly as she suspected. Marcus shifted uneasily, his eyes flickering with something like guilt. He finally whispered, "Ma'am, I didn't mean for it to go like this." Amara met his gaze. Meaning doesn't change impact. He looked away. "Please, just wait here," he murmured. "I'm done waiting," Amara replied. "I'm done being invisible." At that exact moment, the terminal screens flickered. A news ticker scrolled. Breaking. Ether Airways stock plunges 11% as major shareholder initiates emergency action over discrimination allegations. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones lit up across the concourse. Cameras turned toward Amara as passengers murmured, piecing together the story happening live before them. Across the terminal, Richard Fairchild stopped mid-sentence on his call. He checked his phone, his face drained of color. He slowly looked up, eyes locking on Amara with dawning horror. The realization that the woman his staff had targeted was the woman holding nearly a third of his company. Amara's phone buzzed again. Chloe, legal team arriving. PR ready. Employee names confirmed. Evelyn Thorne, Daniel Grant, Marcus Reed. HR wants guidance. Evidence is overwhelming. Viral within minutes. Amara typed one sentence. Begin full disciplinary action. Terminate for cause. Cooperate with federal investigation. Within minutes, security escorted Evelyn out of the gate area, her protest shrill and useless. Daniel was pulled from a meeting, pale and sweating as officials confiscated his badge. Marcus removed his own badge quietly, shoulders slumped, Knowing he'd crossed a line he couldn't walk back. The terminal watched it all unfold, whispering as if witnessing a public trial. Chloe sent one more update. FAA and Department of Transportation have open inquiries. Civil rights groups requesting statements. You want to make a public comment? Amara lifted her chin, eyes still locked on Richard Fairchild, who now approached cautiously, his privilege crumbling by the second. She answered Chloe with 3 words, "Draft the statement." As cameras clicked and whispers swelled, Amara stepped forward, every inch of her radiating the truth she had always known. She belonged in every room she entered. Ether had tried to make her small. Instead, she brought them to their knees.